now tuning with your favorite host. It's Convo with Mr. CINO Show. Bring you the latest on the gossip and more. Creating innovative new opportunity. Reliable source of providing info like a news feed. Interviews up close and personal. With high topics, entertainment and how you want it for more. Creative content on a whole different note. Motivating, building up our future with hope. Right here on your number one show. You hear it first like never before. The conversation inspirational. Convo with CINO. You now tuning with your favorite host. Right here on your number one show. Convo with CINO. You hear it first here like never before. The conversation inspirational. Convo with CINO. You now tuning with your favorite host. Right here on your number one show. Convo with CINO.
We are live. We are live. We are live. What's happening, y'all? Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. You know how we do it around this time. Each and every Wednesday, Convo with CINO Live. We have not missed one Wednesday in over a year. And so shout out to everybody that's rocking with me, everybody that's tuning in, everybody that's subscribed, everybody, over 100,000 views on the YouTube channel. And counting, actually about 110. That's y'all just really showing love, man. So shout out to everybody that's been rocking with me. Hit like, subscribe, share the video. We got a hot show for you tonight, and just like we do each and every week. Shout out to my man Derrick Anderson, who's gonna be joining us. And of course, man, and shout out to my man 22, man. 2022, where are you? What's up, 22, man? Much love, boy. Get better, man. Come on back. Come on home, brother. But in the meantime, I'm gonna bring on my co-host, Marsha Loud. What's up?
What's up?
How you doing, Lola? You look like a Lola Falana over there.
Lola Falano.
Lola Falana. That's okay. That's old school.
Oh, that's like the chick with the flowers. I don't know, something like that. Oh no, I don't look like nobody named Lola. What are you talking about?
You looking luxurious.
Okay, all right. I'm showing my age now. So.
Looking luxurious, looking lovely. That's a compliment. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How about yourself?
Man, I am blessed. I'm blessed. Another week, another opportunity, another day to get it right, to get it right, to get better.
Hey, well, you blessed then, brother.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How was your week?
It's good, productive. Yeah, we're in the last week. Well, actually, April is pretty much over. So now we're heading over to May. It's crazy. Time is flying, right?
It's the 5th month of the year already.
Right. So you have any plans for the month? Any goals that you would like to accomplish for May?
Man, it's the same ones for April, from January, February, March. Get rich. Get rich or die trying.
So that's your goal every month. So that's a life goal
until I get there.
Okay.
Until I get there.
Okay.
But but just to get better though, my goal. And speaking of that, so I got some books. 2 books came in the mail for me.
Okay.
This is what I'm on right now. 10x is better than 2x. So this is my book. I'm gonna be, getting my mind, into, really 10x.
Okay.
So that's what and then shout out to my girl Lisa Hughes and her book that she bought. I bought this for my daughter. So Lisa Hughes, you'll meet her. She's been a friend of the show. She does the relationship soup show. So this is her book, kid book, so got that for the poop-a-doo. So I got 2 books in the mail. So me and the baby, we gonna be getting out, we gonna be elevating our minds in May.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Bringing in some knowledge.
Absolutely. And I'm glad we got the guest that we got on tonight, because that's this is a great guest to go into May, to go into money making May. How about that?
I like that.
Money making May. And we got the perfect guy on here to talk about making money, building wealth, generational wealth, breaking generational curses, all of that right here live on Convo with CINO. Y'all better share this video. Y'all better share it. We're gonna be dropping some knowledge tonight, y'all. Y'all see, I even got the money shirt on. I got the, this ain't Dipset. This money. This the American Eagle, baby. Okay. All right, I'm hyped up, huh?
I am too. I mean, I'm excited as well. We're bringing in some male energy this week, and I love it.
Yeah, y'all. Marsha been getting on me because we've had nothing but, well, we had a guest. We had our clothing buddy. Yeah. Which I still got to get my shirt. You got to put my shirt in the mail or something.
I thought you forgot. I was gonna gift it to somebody else. I said
no. I want my shirt.
Okay, well, you better let me know.
Girl Chronicles. Good evening, young lady.
Well,
I want my shirt, Marsha.
All right, I'll think about it.
I'm gonna send you my address. Put my shirt in. I'm gonna pay for the shipping.
I'm not. How's it gonna get there? I mean, I have to drive to go drop it off.
Drive to the post office?
Yes.
You don't never pass a post office anytime during the course of a week?
You got jokes?
I'm just saying. I mean, you ain't got to make no special trip, but I'm saying when you out, just hey, I'm putting your shirt in the mail. Now hold on. Now shout out to my boy Dwight. He just came. He been in Africa for like 15 days, right? Mm-hmm. He brought me a dashiki. He put my dashiki in the mail. He live in Las Vegas. It was $30 to mail this thing. I cashed out him $30 to mail my dashiki straight out of Africa. So when y'all see me with my dashiki on next week, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be representing the motherland. Black power.
All right. Yes. Well,
So put my other shirt in the mail. Shout out to High Society, man. Shout out to my guy.
Okay. High society. You mean high science?
High science. High science. Yeah. But he got a shirt to say high society too, I think. Man.
Yep, he does. Yeah. But it's really high science. I kept making a mistake of saying high society as well, so I get it. Yeah. But yeah, shout out to Michael Stallworth. And I just don't understand why, if you never come to this area. Oh, my bad. Is it just you do a drive-by, you just drive through?
I get in, get out, go see moms, check on her, make sure she good. And then I don't be thinking, you know what I'm saying? Like that is the last thing on my mind when I come out there. Moms be having me running, and you know how mamas do. Go here, go there, pick up here, give me some chicken. It's lunch. Stop and give me some chicken. Okay. I'm the chicken man when I come to Gary. I'm turning to the chicken man when I come to Gary.
Okay, we'll make sure for next week you'll have your shirt on next Wednesday. Okay.
Gotcha.
All right. So you ready to bring in our next guest?
Man, let's bring them out. Bring them out.
Okay. Well, today's guest is a builder in every sense of the word: systems, businesses, and people. Born and raised right here in Gary, Indiana, Derrick Anderson has spent over a decade mastering not just how to make money, but how to structure it, and also how to scale it and to turn it into lasting wealth. As the founder of Major League Essentials, he's on a mission to close the gap that too many aspiring entrepreneurs face, which is lack of direction, lack of mentorship, and lack of systems. And after losing his father at just the age of 19, Derrick had to figure life out the hard way, through trial and error and hard-earned lessons. But instead of letting that break him, he turned it into a blueprint, one that now helps others move from confusion to clarity, from hustle to structure, and from income to ownership. He's the creator of Wealth Frequency Code, and the BOSS Architect Accelerator, where his philosophy is simple but powerful. Mindset first, structure second, action always. And his mission is to help 1,000 entrepreneurs become capital ready, build real businesses, and create generational wealth that lasts. Let's get into it, CINO. This is a conversation about discipline, ownership, and building a legacy that outlives you. So let's all welcome to the show.
What's up, G? What up? Hold on.
What's good? What's good, my brother?
What's going on, bro?
Oh, good to see you. Good to see you. How you doing, Miss Marsha?
How you doing, Derrick? Welcome to the show.
Good, good. I'm feeling good, feeling great.
Wonderful.
Yeah, man. Scoot over a little bit because you got your name on all on your beard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A little bit. There we go.
No, okay. Scoot to my right.
You're right.
Yeah, this way. Go this way.
No.
Oh, okay. Because it's like
okay, that's a little better.
The way I see it is different a little bit, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's better.
Okay.
What's up, bro?
You got it, man. How you doing?
Man, it's been a long time, man. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah. I've been seeing you doing your thing. Appreciate you, inviting the brother on. It's time.
Absolutely, man. It's money making made, man. So it's perfect timing, like we just talked about, to really talk about money, talk about wealth, talk about, again, with the things that you're talking about, man, just powerful, man. So we heard from Marsha, beautiful introduction, but tell the people about yourself, man, and who you are.
Yeah, man. So I'm Derrick Anderson, man. Like you said, born and raised in Gary, Indiana, Purdue graduate. And more so about me, I have a background. My background is real estate, insurance, and banking. And so it's kind of diverse. Like I said, I came from a different type of upbringing as far as like had to.
You stuck.
It's part of the reason why I actually decided to, kind of build my business, because I knew that coming up, from Gary and coming up out of the trenches, a lot of us didn't have those role models or mentors or people that we could just look up to when it was time to, take a different path and just grow, not only just as a man, but from a mental perspective, physical, spiritual, the whole nine. And so, like I said, once I really was paving my own road, I decided I wanted to be able to reach back and not leave those, behind lost. No man left behind.
Man, powerful.
Okay.
Wow. What you got, Marsha?
Well, you lost your dad at 19, which clearly shaped the way you are today, right? But what's one decision that you made back then at 19 that still impacts how you build businesses still to this day?
Wow. I mean, yeah, that I would say just a matter of just being disciplined and following through and executing. My father was a actual Navy sergeant, and so in the house how I was brought up, he didn't really play. He wasn't too strict, but he definitely didn't play. And so just kind of having him, that was like my sophomore year.
No, hey, bro, don't sugarcoat it. He's sergeant. He's strict, bro.
Oh yeah. He kept us together.
Yeah.
Kept us together, no doubt.
Okay.
And,
See, you know his dad?
I don't know, but I know Derrick, and I can tell, like it doesn't surprise me that he's the way he is. You know what I'm saying? He's always sharp, always clean. You know what I'm saying? He speaks articulate, speaks with authority, and I can tell you would chip off the old block.
Yeah, so that's definitely where I get it from. You know what I mean?
And now, Marsha, you trying to.
I would say the biggest thing was always being a leader, the leadership role. My pops was a leader. That's where I kind of was bringing that from. He was a leader, showed me how to lead. And even at even in those short 19 years, he instilled that in me, which led me to, continue to push and to thrive and to, never give up when it comes to some adversity. I've definitely had my share of adversity in life, and just kind of going through it. So you got to keep pushing, and that's really what kind of helped me separate myself, was that throughout it all, I know I got to be able to lead. And it's some days you don't want to be that leader. It's some days you want to be, you want to play the background role. But when you've kind of positioned yourself, you got to make sure that you keep pushing. And it's a saying that they say, check on your strong friends. And a lot of times, when you position yourself as the strong friend, a lot of people feel like you're going to be all right regardless, not knowing that sometimes, you have days just like everybody else.
Yeah. Yep.
Man. Well, hold on, man. I got to drop the horns on that, man.
Yeah, seriously, bro. I mean, that's it.
Yeah. No, that was powerful, man. So Derrick, so what is it that you do, man? Tell the people, like, what is it? Because we know, financial literacy, but there's so many different areas of that. I do credit repair. That's my specialty. So people just know credit repair, legal shield. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when people think about you, what is it that you do specifically?
Yeah. So basically what I do, man, and I've and it's crazy because I've had that full circle where I've positioned myself in different areas. I've been in credit repair. I've been in, like I said, I've been in this area, that area of business. And so that's kind of what Major League Essentials is. Major League Essentials is making sure that you have the essentials of business building and of entrepreneurship. I'm really big on mindset because throughout my tenure as being an entrepreneur and going through this, a serial entrepreneur at that. I mean, at one point I was in legal shield, prepaid legal, going back when that's how I met you, actually.
Yeah.
And just kind of going through that era. And so just kind of bringing myself to a full throttle. So now I help people with the structure, because a lot of times we lack structure in the businesses coming up, even when it comes to, credit repair is part of the structure. Your business setup, how your LLC is formulated is part of the structure. And then, just like I say, organizing your business when it comes to the systems and the discipline and how you plan to scale. So I actually kind of came up with what's called an essential scan for my business, for businesses and for entrepreneurs to really just kind of do a deep dive in where they are, no matter if they're, $30,000 a month business versus, just getting started in pre-revenue. So we just kind of do a deep dive and figuring out where they are, where they want to be, and what their goals are. And so at that point, we'll create a roadmap for them. And I have my 12-week program is a sprint program, and my 6-month accelerator program is more so for those that need more guidance, more time, more one-on-one, more hands-on. But you have some that are already in business, already active, and you'd be surprised. A lot of businesses, have been in business, let's say 4 or 5 years, but they've just been going through the motions. And I've ran into people where they have, big, I would say huge situations where they're not even, like I had one client that he had 4 different businesses. Everything was going through one bank account, did not even have a personal bank account. So he was commingling funds every which way, and just really.
I think that's you probably see that a lot, right? The commingling.
Yeah, man.
I know I'm bad. Look, I'm probably the king of commingling.
Yeah, and so I just kind of help people get systematically structured, so that, because I do the business funding, and so a lot of times, that's the bottleneck, right? People want to get funding. Everybody wants funding, but the main thing, the Achilles heel, is the credit. And most people don't want to go through that credit repair. And I've heard it from other business owners, other consultants that say, yeah, man, people just don't want to take the time to, go through that phase where that's the biggest hurdle, right? And so it's not going to take care of itself. I mean, it's definitely going to just kind of be there lingering and hurting the business. And then also, like I say, when I say the business strategist, is because there are other ways, right? You have personally guaranteed business credit, but then you also have non-personally guaranteed business credit, to where you can actually get business credit off of the EIN of your business. A lot of people don't know that. And there's a certain aspect and a certain way you go about that. certain steps that you can go. And some people don't realize that it's layers, right? There's about 6 layers that you have to go through in order to really build that up. Some people try to jump steps and they hurt because they don't have the actual foundation, right? And so I just help people, kind of get their foundation right, but more so getting the mind right when it comes to being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, and being a boss. Because basically a boss stands for built on systems and strategies. So it's not your typical boss. So that's what my definition of boss is.
Man.
Because if you want to, if you want to build it up the right way, you got to have a system and you got to have strategies.
Hold on, man. What's that again? Break that boss down again.
Yeah, boss is built on systems and strategies. So that's the boss architect, and that's what I'm creating. Definitely, setting them up to be a real boss, not just the word boss, but actually,
come on, man.
Flowing and having all, taking away the chaos, getting rid of the chaos, and just building it out so that your business is scalable systematically without all the stress.
Okay.
Yeah, man, because if you think about it, one of the biggest things that I help people come up with, and this is a question that I ask people all the time, just kind of being in the financial services industry, things like that. I'll ask a person, and I would say about 85% of the time I stump them and I say, at what age do you plan to retire? And so, most people say, you know what, I haven't really thought about it. Some people say, I just thought I was going to work till I die, and that's tough. And so I say, how do we game plan that then? Let's put a number on it. And then from there, we have a retirement speed limit as well, as I call it, right? Because a lot of people, they don't realize that they're not being realistic, right? So somebody may say, oh, I'm 50 now, I want to retire at 60, but they don't really have enough to retire on. You get what I'm saying? So what does that look like? How much do you want to have? How much income do you want to have monthly, coming in when you retire? And so a lot of times people learn to get too retired.
So let me ask you this. Is there a formula, like a formula for that question? Like, okay, you take what you make now times this to live on for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? Like if you make 6 figures now, if you make $8,333 a year, a month, and how do you have a formula to set someone up to still maintain their lifestyle, a 6-figure lifestyle?
Yeah, that's good. That's a great question, actually. So the way that kind of works is, if you think about it, and that's why a lot of times when we think about reality of retirement and what it really looks like, it's actually a retirement crisis going on right now. A lot of people don't realize, just like I was saying, some people realize they won't be able to retire. And when we think about us, think about it. We got, I'm 47. So let's say our retirement age is 65, 70. I still got, quote unquote, 18, 20 years, to retirement. But if you think about it, things are doubling right now. So what if everything is right now is doubled in the next 20 years? So, I actually had a pleasure of working with some seniors when I was in banking at one point. And so the thing is, you really want to create it to where your nest egg, right? Your nest egg, you want to be able to live off a percentage of that. And if you can live off, let's say 6% or less of your nest egg, it should last you throughout retirement. So case in point, if somebody's living on 6% of $1 million, that's really not a lot if you think about it, right? That's 60,000.
60,000, yeah.
That's 5,000. That's 5,000 a month coming in.
But if you set up, if your house is paid for, your car, you don't have a house note, you don't have a car. At those ages, retirement age, you probably shouldn't have certain things.
Well, that's the key word, shouldn't. That's the key thing, shouldn't, right? So one of the biggest things that we have to do is make sure that we're setting money up in different buckets, right? So one of the things is you may have a retirement bucket, which is your 401k. Then you may have a brokerage account, and then you'll have your actual emergency funds, which would maybe sitting in a savings account or a money market account. So those are the ways you kind of want to set yourself up to be kind of diversified. And one of the biggest things that I want to touch on, I want to get people to see. See, I promote entrepreneurship, and even though I promote entrepreneurship, I do not promote, having a W-2. So what people don't realize is one of the best things you can do is be a hybrid, right?
Me.
Yeah, I know. There you go. So you understand.
you know my whole story.
Yeah.
I'm not only your friend, I'm a client, and I got to get back, which I sure regret doing what I did too. We'll talk about that. I regret that.
Okay. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's just kind of what it is, man, is because when we think about it, when we think about setting up our own selves for success, right? One of the biggest thing that we have to deal with in our life is taxes, right? So if I can show my people how to set up, okay, now you're W-2 earner, but if I could show you how to reduce taxes, but not only to reduce taxes, just kind of increase your income by just changing your W-4 at the beginning of the year. So when when it's time to reevaluate yourself, a lot of people never change their W-4, right? So they're still holding the taxes back, and they may have had kids, they may have had different things that happen, but they never increased their savings. So instead of getting, let's say somebody got back $7,000 at the end of the year in taxes. Let's say $10,000 for round numbers. $10,000 back at the end of the year. Why not get that, whatever that breaks down to monthly, back into your account, into your paycheck, invest it, let it compound. So by the end of that 12 months, where do you have? Versus waiting on Uncle Sam to pay you back money that you already earned. See, we don't get a chance to utilize the fund right now. So just like I said, and that's just part of it, man. That's just the transparency. There's different strategies that we could do to set ourselves up to run a lot more efficiently. We get that money, and then how a lot of people don't realize it, when we start off as a W-2 worker, right? Guess what? Mm-hmm. Uncle Sam get theirs first. Then you pay bills and you get what's left. When you're an entrepreneur, you get yours, you get to pay your expenses and pay everything, and then Uncle Sam tax what's left. So just like I said, if you it's just the difference of you making 100,000, getting taxed on 100,000 versus making 100,000 right now, 40,000 and getting taxed on the 60. So those are some of the things I try to help my Class C, and you can do it with a home-based business. So if you just think about it, your home-based business, once you get into a home-based business, now you can write off a portion of your mortgage or a portion of your rent, portion of your light bill, portion of your gas bill, portion of your internet, portion of your phone bill. So many expenses, and that's why they say it ain't what you make, it's what you can keep. You know what I'm saying? Because if I made 100,000, but 50,000 went to taxes. Yeah. And if we think about it, the first third of the year, we're really working for the IRS. They don't get their first 33% at least, 33 to 50% of your income, just depending on, where that's at. So that's just, where I try to.
Look, hey man, look, y'all better start coming, liking, subscribing, share this video. The man is dropping nuggets. He's dropping knowledge right now. I'm telling you, get your pad. I'm taking notes.
Right.
I'm taking notes. It's serious, right? I mean, we live in a serious time, man.
Yes, we do, man. And just like what they're doing, like with inflation and all this and things we have to be aware of. One of the biggest things that I want to touch on, that I want to say is, this is the reason why when I've taken the areas I went from banking to insurance, I've always picked up pieces that were so valuable because I love helping people, for one. But I've always helped people with major purchases, major experiences, major decisions in their life, right? You know what I'm saying? If you're going to buy this house or not, if you know, are going to actually get this life insurance, how are you going to set yourself up? What does your retirement look like? You know, when, like I said, when can you retire? And if a lot of people, you know, we think we got all this time in the world, right? And I know my peers, we all pushing 50. So we know we supposed to been had these conversations. And one of the things I say, another thing, like I said, when I ask people the age they're going to retire, one of the biggest things that you wouldn't believe is most people don't even look at their 401k. They don't know what they're invested in. They don't even know how it works. And you know what I mean? They're just paying into it, right? So the thing of it is, you're either at that point, you're just a passive investor, but you're not an active investor. So what I teach my mentees and students is we got to show you how to become an active investor versus a passive investor, right? There's a book Tony Robbins got us. It's a money book. It's an audio book. It's on YouTube. You can go and check it out, right? But he talks about how the 401k
What's
is
the
one
name
of the
of it?
biggest rip offs. It's some. I think it's The Money Game.
The Money Game?
Money Game. Yeah. And so it talks about how he's even like stumped a lot of these top financial advisors when he gets to telling them, like, you know, you guys are ripping people off when you're, you know, people don't even see all these fees that are getting deducted out of their, you know, accounts when they got these brokerages, this and that. And so a lot of times, by the time somebody retire, the actual investment, you know, the brokers, they've made twice as much money as you made because they've made it off the fees that you have to make in order to get money. You know, and we think that it's safer to do it that way. So I like to empower us to say, at least, you know what you're doing. Know how it is. One of the biggest things happened to me, I was working for a company. I was working for FHA some years back. This may have been like 2012. And, you know, I'm paying into my, you know, 401k. So I just, you know, was figuring, okay, I'll put this amount in or whatever. But little do you know, right? We are supposed to manage that ourselves because they'll open it. Your company will open up a 401k for you, but they won't pick what stocks and everything you're in. So at the time, you know, I'm putting money in and I just like, and I started getting educated. This is when I learned about stock options back in 2012. And so I learned how to read charts. And so when I went in and I looked at my 401k and what they had me in was just doing this. So it was like I was putting money into a leaking bucket. But when I found out about it, I went in and found, you know, what I should be in to grow my account and you know, turn that around. So that's why you can have
BlackRock. You would have found BlackRock.
Yeah, you know what? Hey, speaking of that, now that's another thing I want to touch on. I'm gonna come back to BlackRock after I make this point, right? So with what I was saying is you can have two people making the same amount, contributing the same amount into their 401k, but their 401k balances could look totally different because one is investing in knows what to invest in. The other one is just letting it sit, not even checking it, not even quarterly. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's some of the things that I tell my clients. I say, hey, I'll do that as a bonus to you, but let's at least review and look at what your 401k looks like because, you know, this is where you put in. Then we seen it in 2008. That was the time when I was in real estate. It was the housing market was crashing, but not only the stock market and the housing crashed. Stock market and the housing market was crashing all at once. That's why it was so detrimental because people was losing not only the equity in their homes, but their 401ks. I mean, you have people that were committing suicide. People felt like they had nothing to live for. I had clients that, I mean, you know, accounts went from, let's say, 300,000 to 150,000, and they're like, man, how am I recoup that? And I was just getting ready to retire in 2 years. Now I got to work another 5 or so years just to figure it out, you know. And so that was detrimental. So it's just, you know, and the market does what it wants to do, right? And they're talking about now how there's going to be a, you know, I was looking at some today, Forbes, they were talking about it may be a time where it's going to be, the market's going to be tanking for 10 years straight. You know, so how are we gonna adjust to that as a people if we don't get educated?
Wow. Man. Marshall, what's happening?
Taking it all in. I'm loving this.
Yeah.
So
One of the things, I'm sorry, I just wanted to mention that since you mentioned BlackRock, right? I just got into it, and I want people to do their own research, but I really want to bring people into what's going on right now, right? BlackRock, people don't know, it's one of the biggest hedge funds in the world, right? And with that being said, what I found out literally like hours before this call, I had a talk with a guy that I joined a mentorship years ago, and back in 2020 during COVID and everything. It's called RPX, Recession Proof.
Recession Proof. Shout out to Recession Proof, RPX.
Yes, sir.
Him 500.
Yeah.
You know, they're giving them a hard time these days, but
man, yeah.
It's some good testimonies that came from RPX and the Recession Proof, man.
Yeah, man. Millionaires.
Don't let them fool you. Shout out Dwight, you, me. We all RPX, man. So shout out to him 500, man.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the things was we were talking, and he was just telling me about how like BlackRock had been utilizing AI since the 90s. Like nobody really knew like how they did like trillions of dollars, right? So when just kind of doing my research, bro, I literally just came up on a gold mine. It's another company. It's called BG Wealth Group. BG
Wealth Group?
Yeah, BG Wealth Group. BG Wealth Group partnered with an exchange called DSJ Exchange. And so what they did, they partnered together, and BG is a actual hedge fund.
Are they public or private?
They actually just are in the actual process of releasing the IPO right now.
Okay.
In the IPO phase. So that stands for initial public offering. So they're getting ready to go public. And so what's happening is, bro, this is really literally changing the game as far as like being able to copy, paste, and profit. What I mean by that, when instead of is in our group is called Better Than the Bank. Better Than the Bank, right? So anybody can join, and the minimum you really want to come in is with like a $500 investment. It's not a cost, it's an investment, right? Because it's still your money. But check this out. Tell me this. Where do you know you can get in somewhere? And people this is going on in over 100 countries, over 600,000 people involved right now, and it's growing every day, right? You literally get 2 permanent trades a day. One at 1 p.m., one at 7 p.m. daily, 7 days a week. You're actually trading in the futures market on crypto, Bitcoin. And all you do is you go into one actual account, you copy the code that his name is Stephen Beard. Look it up. And so you have to really do your research, right? Because if you just go on Google right now, you put it in ChatGPT, it was all type of, like negative, because everybody has something to say in their opinion on how things were going. But I'm talking about, they actually merged these companies. BG and DSJ merged in 2024, and DSJ actually has the AI software that they utilize with a over 99% win rate.
Wow.
You hear what I say? 99% win rate, bro. I literally have somebody that just did that just basically, and there's a compensation platform to it as well. But you literally don't even have to do that. You take your 2 trades a day. And if you lose a trade, they give you a makeup trade that is like triple of that trade. And you only utilize 1% of your account balance. So let's say if you you start off with, let's say $1,000, you only trading $10 in that trade. And out of that 1%, you get 60% of that 1%. So 60%, and you do that twice a day. 60% is like 1.2% a day. Now, the power is where the compounding comes in at, right? So anybody that's on the call or in it, you can pull up a compound calculator, right? Put in just like on the low side, $500 a day. And this is just math, right? $500 a day compounded at 1.2% for the next 12 months is about $49,000. 48.8 off of $500, one-time investment, not not over and over and over again, just one time. So that's the power of compounding with AI and investing. So this is something that's really just kind of hit the U.S. DSJ just opened up an exchange in Colorado, and they actually invested $70 million just to let Colorado know we serious, we here. Got all the security exchange, got all that done. So it's legit, and it's rocking and rolling. So that's something that what I mean. Didn't even tell you about yet, but I'm definitely wanted to get with you on that. But
thank you.
This is a way. This is a way. What I'm talking about. This is a way to actually, and then you can even open up accounts for your children right now. So instead of having them in a savings account that's making 0.0 nothing, you know what I mean? You can put this in there, and even if you want it to be, and really what I think is like mind blowing is we're not talking about, oh, I got to put in $500 a month to get that. We're talking about $500 one time, making your 2 trades a day and letting it compound. I made 4 trades today. I was 4 for 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna get with you, bro. I'm gonna get with you.
And that's the thing about it is not even learning how to trade. People don't even have to know how to trade. All you need to know how to do is copy and paste. So I just had to throw that in there.
You dropping a lot. You dropping a lot on us, bro. You dropping a lot, man. Yeah. You financial guys. Y'all can go on and on and on, man.
Yeah, I wanted to let people know that stuff out here like this exists, man. I've been doing a lot of homework, bro. I had to really, because in order to be a leader, you got to be a great follower. You know what I mean? I know that it's a lot of people right now that really don't know how to make a real solid decision, right? We don't know how to, we haven't done enough investing to where everything seems risky, and it's always easy to do nothing, right? Because you feel like you're not risking, but that is the biggest risk. The biggest risk is to stay the same.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? That's your biggest risk, because what's going to happen? And a lot of people don't realize this. This is what they call the 40-40-40 club, right? We all, and I tell people we have to prepare ourselves, because what that means, 40 hours a week for 40 years, for 40% of your paycheck, what they want to give you in Social Security, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's going to be able to live off Social Security, what they're trying to give you, the bare minimum.
Right now, actually, it's going to be 40-40-0, because Social Security going to be.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Honestly, let's just keep it real. It's going to be 40-40-0.
And and to see what they're doing with people on, Section 8, they cutting that to where they only going to allow you to be on that for so long. You ain't going to be able to be on it 40 years, Section 8. You're not going to be able to collect food stamps for 40 years. And, they Trump doing all away with that. So that's just something I want to get us as a people ahead of the game. We always, late on something, and then by the time we get it, they didn't put so many rules in, and now we feeling like we locked out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whew. Boy, man. We can go on and on. We gonna have to back more often, man.
I had to get it out there.
Well, how can people get a hold of you? I mean, like, what is it that you're doing right now for people to gain access to you?
Yeah, so right now, man, I got my they can set up a call with me, book, you know what I'm saying? Like I say, that's where I kind of pretty much do the essential scan. They can go to bookwithderrick.com, set up a call, and just kind of seeing what they have. And it's time to be a lot bolder in what we're doing, man. So a lot of people out here so timid and shy, they're scared to fail. But as an entrepreneur, and actually I was just looking at something last night. It was talking about billionaires, right? The 33 principles of billionaires and how they think, but they also said that you basically, failure is part of the process. It's not, most people are afraid to fail, but it's you learn in failure, and that's how you grow. But a lot of people feel like if they want to start a business, oh, it's going to be perfect. The first one they start is going, everything is going to flourish. They're not going to have no problems, and that's going to be so far from the truth. And so if we don't set out and, prepare ourselves for that, and one of my mentors is Eric Thomas. Eric Thomas said it best. He said,
let me just tell you, D. See, Marsha, big time. She real humble, but she knows all these people, man. She know, she know all these people, man. When she goes to Invest Fest, you should see her when she at Invest Fest. Speaking of that, y'all going to Invest Fest this year?
Networking. No, actually, I missed it, man. I won't miss it this year, though.
I'm talking about this year. Are you going this year?
Oh yeah. I'm definitely, I plan on.
Marsha, you going?
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right, I'm going. So we all going. We'll be at Invest Fest. And Marsha, tell people what Invest Fest is, since you the queen of Invest Fest.
It's a great place to network, get knowledge, financial knowledge, be exposed, be surrounded by people with wonderful mindsets that'll help prepare you and get you going in the right direction, particularly in the financial world. So a lot of Black excellence there, and doesn't matter. A lot of them are young and old, and so it's a lot of great energy there that I think that everybody should go and experience. It's really good.
Absolutely. I think the networking is the main thing, because you're getting around a lot of like-minded people. I mean, that's the reason why I joined RPX, right? Because you kind of want to be around. And so I actually started a community on Facebook too. It's called The Boss Architect. Anybody's free to join that. And then, and people can also connect with me, bookwithderrick.com. That's my,
you got an ebook too, right? You got to tell us about your ebook.
Yeah, man. And so the ebook is basically, that's where it all starts at, right? And just like I was saying, some of the things I'm saying, we have to have that identity shift. We got to start with our mind. For anybody that's not in a mentorship or anything like that, if you start, I'm going to tell you, that's going to be first chapter. That's the first chapter, and the first is identity shifting, mindset. So we have to get beyond how we think and, come to another level of thinking, come to another level of self-belief, self-confidence. That's one of the my mottos from the Think and Grow Rich book. It's called the self-confidence formula. And so it talks about committing to memory, knowing where you're at. And one of the things it talks about is knowing. It says, first, I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand persistent, continuous action towards its attainment. And I here and now promise to render such action. So we got to, kind of build this up, and we got to learn to manifest dreams, goals, and visions. And, a lot of people, we have all these conversations about everything that's going on in the world, but I don't hear really, when people talk about money, people start to get shot. Talk about being a millionaire, people go hide or people get silent, right? So if we really have those dreams, those aspirations, I mean, speak on it. Speak the wealth into existence. I know I'm going to be a millionaire.
I'm going to be a millionaire.
Yeah, you was talking about it at the beginning of the call. We already own it. We own that check, so it's just manifesting, right?
Marsha, you going to be a millionaire?
I'm going to be a millionaire.
Who wants to be a millionaire, right?
That's right. I think we got some, Marsha, can you check the Facebook comments? We got some comments, questions. We got some people tuning in. Can you check, shout out to my girl, Coach V. She said, good job. And Miss Yvonne, Mama Yvonne Carter, this young man is brilliant.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I think, yeah, man, we got some. Shout out to my girl Cinnamon, Jennifer Maybon.
I have one question.
Go ahead.
Are you reading that? Someone asked, what do you think of jobs that's offering stock options and the employees paying to that as well as the 401k?
That's a great question. It really just depends on the stock. One of the things that I'm glad they kind of said that too is one of the things people want people to think about, and it's like a learning, right? I didn't believe me. If I wish I would have known all these things when I, as I know now, years ago, but as I learned them, it took growth. It took, seeking it, right? We have to seek this knowledge. But one of the things is with the stock options, the biggest thing you want to kind of look at is whether or not the stock has a dividend attached to it. See, a dividend is how the stocks grow and things like that. And not only if it has a dividend, if it does have a dividend, you want to make sure that you take the option to have the dividends reinvested, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the case in point is things like this. When people say this, they have to realize what they're saying. If sometimes people say, "Oh, if I would have bought, put $1,000 in." Yeah, $1,000 in this or $1,000 in that. Just like, let's say Pepsi, for instance, right? Or something like that. So they have a dividend share that they put. So a lot of times what happens is, okay, now let's say if you started with 100 shares, it gives you, let's say, 4% return dividend. Now on the 100 shares at the end of the year, you got 104 shares. So then that, so that's what happens over time. And so that's how not only are you getting more shares, but if the share amount is going up, that's how people, come into these, huge actual accounts, and they've, 100 shares then turned into 1,000 shares over time because it was actually a dividend reinvestment attached to it. And so I would say if they do have a stock option attached to it, just kind of make sure that if there's a dividend reinvestment option, that they take that as well.
Whew. Boy, you on fire, boy. You can drop. Where can we find? Actually, I think Jennifer Maybon. Shout out to Jennifer with the 7 seasoning. She said, "Where is this again?" I think she's talking about Invest Fest. That's going to be in Atlanta. Do you know the dates? Time? I know it's in August, right?
Say August, September-ish, around there. Yeah.
Yeah, mid-August. It's in Atlanta, but and I don't have they announced the keynote speaker?
Not yet.
Not yet.
So last year was, I know I went the year 50 Cent was there, and then Magic Johnson was there last year.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's going to be there this year.
Yeah.
As far as
they always have a billionaire there. They say always have a billionaire in the room every year.
A few billionaires, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of EYL, check this out. What's your thoughts on this? Let's get into some topics, man, because we can do this all night, bro. You know me and you, we got a whole bunch of comments. The Fat Girl Chronicles. Somebody said they got their 500 to invest. Hold on. Shout out to this brother. I got my 500.
Let's go. Hey, set a call, bookwithderrick.com. Bookwithderrick.com. That's big bro. That's my big bro right there.
Bro. Oh, okay.
So yeah, hey, and I'm talking about the concept is so new. I haven't even had a chance to tell all my family members yet. But me and him supposed to have a call yesterday. That's why he's saying it now. Let's go. Yes, sir.
So proud of you, Derrick. That's my brother. Mama and daddy would be so proud. Oh,
thank you, sis. Appreciate it.
That's what's up.
100.
So check this out. I posted this the other day, and I want to kind of get your thoughts on it. And shout out to the Earn Your Leisure crew. If I can get it. Marsha, you can ask a question while I find this.
Yeah, well, you know what? You talk about systems a whole lot as far as being an entrepreneur or running a business. What mistake do people make when they want to get started with a system? What's the first system that they should start with? Let's say that.
I'm glad you asked that, because I actually have a system that they can input right now, especially for the solopreneurs dealing with AI, right? If they go to AIVoiceEssentials.com, it's a company that I'm partnered with, an affiliate of. It's called Marblism, right? So Marblism gives you 6 assistants straight out the gate. So you'll have somebody that does your social media marketing, somebody that does your email, somebody that can help you with LinkedIn. You got a legal assistant, and you even have an actual voice So somebody can take AI can take incoming calls for your business. And basically you can set it up as easily as taking your website, entering it into the actual AI, and then it just kind of breaks down everything about your business, and you can have it set up in less than 15 minutes, and then you can just kind of build it out, make it more unique to your business and grow it. But you actually can set up these agents to just kind of do things. You even got one for blogs. So if you got a Wix,
Wow.
I got a Wix blog that just kind of puts out blogs. But what I would say is the number one thing that people do the most is they're trying to do everything, right? We try to wear every hat, especially as a solopreneur. We have to figure out what to give up, what to delegate. And some of the things is you want to get rid of the tasks that aren't making you money. Mm-hmm. So anything that you can think of that's not necessarily making you money, you want to, as the owner, you want to stick with the MMA, the money making activities, right? So those are the things that you want to, if I know that if I can get somebody to set my appointments, then I would start with that. If I'm booking appointments, I need an appointment setter, and let me just close the appointment. I don't need to spend the time booking or calling and cold calling and doing things like that, right? Mm-hmm. And so another thing is, like I say, setting up the systems too. A lot of times people right now, especially with us in this day and age, we are doing a lot of the posting on all these social medias. Like I say, you go to AI Voice Essentials, you'll have it to where this is posting every day on my business pages constantly. I don't have to go on and post, right? And then you also have, you want to get a CRM. I have a CRM. I have a link for that.
Is that something CRM, like Go High Level? Is that like Go High Level?
Go High Level, that's it. Go High Level. Okay. I got a link for Go High Level. So basically, CRM stands for Customer Relationship Manager. A lot of times we want to have we need a database where we're holding all our clients. But then we want to set up automations to nurture our clients, like email automations and things like that, so that we're constantly setting it up. One of the things I'm working on right now is putting in place webinars, because right now I do a lot of one-on-one, Zoom calls and things like that. I want to start one-to-many. So just like this, I appreciate you. Shout out to CINO, man. Let me make sure I shout you out, bro. I keep doing your thing, man. Much love, and you're always been a good brother, man. And it shows from the heart, man. I truly appreciate you. I remember when you first started this up, I was like, yeah, D, I'll get you on that, man. I'm like, all right. We didn't put too much pressure on, but everything happened in divine time, man. I appreciate you getting me on, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I would say the systems, just kind of build out those things that you can kind of delegate that are not making you money.
Okay. So how do we get in touch with you? What's your website? Where do we follow you at?
Yeah. I'm on social media platforms. I'm on Major League Essentials on Facebook, Derrick DaMan Anderson on Facebook as well, my personal profile. Major League Essentials on Instagram. My website is majorleagueessentials.com. That's majorleagueessentials.com. Also, if you're looking for funding for your business, if you already know you qualify, I got actual 0% interest business credit for the first 18 to 21 months for business owners looking to scale their business. Also got it even if you don't have a business and you're pre-revenue, don't even have a LLC set up. As long as you got a 680 credit score, we can get you 0% interest personally guaranteed credit cards. And you can tap into me with that at majorleagueessentialsllc.com. So my majorleagueessentials.com is for my coaching platform. The Major League Essentials LLC is more so for the business funding. And the book with Derrick.com, if they want to just go straight and book a call, say I'm ready to do some business.
Okay.
Wow. Hey D, let's get into some topics, man, real quick before we end. Sure. Tell us about this, because you had something going on. What was this about, bro?
Yeah, shout out. Appreciate that. Yeah, man. So that was an actual, it was called Entrepreneur of Impact. And that was something that Damon John was putting together, right? He actually had to where he had entrepreneurs that, you know, really wanted to make an impact, talk about how they were going to make an impact. And just by being a part of it, we're actually supporting the youth for a nonprofit called Gen Youth, into which, you know, we're helping to make sure they were fed and, you know, properly set out on the right path to be able to, you know, have the proper education and all that, man. So I was pushing for that. First place was really like $25,000 and a seat with a one-on-one with Damon John. I really was trying to get both, right? I wanted the money, but I also wanted to, you know, sit with Damon John, a true pioneer of FUBU, who started a multi-million-dollar, you know, business just, you know, with a vision, right? And so that's why I tell a lot of people, it all starts with a vision. And that's why I have my book, The Identity Shift, because we have to think differently. And if we really want to get into what I call the wealth frequency mode, to where we're starting to actually build and think about becoming multi-millionaires and just actually living comfortable. Some people just want to live comfortable. Some people don't, you know, wealth, the definition of wealth is, a lot of people think it's having multi-million dollars. No, really the definition of being wealthy is being able to support the lifestyle that you want to have, right? Because if we have, let's say people have, say if somebody got 100 million, they probably ain't gonna touch 10 million of it, right? If they're not a lavish person, but they can live comfortably, they can do whatever they want to do, right? We have people that become millionaires and give it all away before they die. They might give it to a charity or something. It happens because it's just about you're wealthy, is being able to do whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it, however you want to do it. That's my definition of